professional service. But I actually like are just in tune with the Father. Like, Father, let me see like these little like loopholes where you want me to plant seeds, right? They already know what I'm about because of the mags and the videos they know. So a lot of it is lifestyle evangelism. When I'm like paying attention to our conversation and you see where like a bunny chair will go and the Father will give you a verse or like something, I just really look for the Father and just really crucial to their situation. And just a lot of it's lifestyle evangelism, or I'll bring up Christian and you know what I mean. But and then there's sometimes where it is like boom, gospel. Does that make sense? But it's all just different strokes for different folks, kind of,
I just wanted to mention, Yuli asked me to mention that Christian, we noticed he's been doing some interviews in Juice Magazine, and he always proclaims the Lord in all his interviews with the pros. And I think he did an interview with Tony Hawk, and who else have you done, Christian? You've done a few. Caballero, and I encourage you all to check it out because, he's a strong witness in all those interviews, and they're pretty good.
Juice Magazine.
I was gonna ask you guys, who are some pros or other amateurs that we can be praying for to be at this conference next year with you guys?
Oh, you gotta pray.
Recruits.
You know what? Pray for Paul Rodriguez. He was in a 4-1. He went to church. Was raised by his grandparents. Pray for Jeremy Rogers. Christian led him to the Lord, discipled him. He was coming to the church for a while. Pray for Ryan Sheckler. The dude's on MTV, the most watched show right now. And on a top 5 of all people, Jesus Christ was number 3. Pray for the people in the skateboard industry. But yeah, those pros specifically. And then, other skaters who couldn't be here, Ray Barbie. Pray for these skate ministry teams.
Pray for
because a lot of them are walking the line. Like, you guys call it agree, skate ministry. It's like you're right there in the hard place. You know what I mean? If you're not connected to the Father, you could easily it's not like we judge these guys like, oh, you've fallen into that. It's like, no, if you're not connected with God's heart, it's easy to just jump right back in.
Yeah, also pray for Forrest Kirby. He came to our skate park, and I was able to pray with him. And he has these books that he makes, and he writes in them, and he's definitely seeking, he's in the Catholic religion, and he's making these books with the Station of the Cross and all that. And, he really liked what we were doing. And the Zoo York team, when we presented the gospel, they left. But Forrest Kirby, he stayed. And he actually travels separately than the team. And he was like, Yuli, I love what you guys are doing. So pray for him, because God's definitely knocking on his heart.
Sierra Fellers, Bo was saying, Brian Sumner, Figgy, he just got the cover of, I think, Skateboarder. There's a lot of skaters right there. We just pray. We kind of thinking about doing like a breakfast for a lot of this industry, and just like, hey, we're here for you guys. Not like preach to them, but like relational. Like, hey, we love you.
It could be key to do like a breakfast at ASR too, or something like that. Something in the morning. You guys think?
Chad has something to say.
I think a lot of these skaters are just walking this line of either they're going to give their life to the Lord or they're going to give their life to skating in that life. So a lot of these guys are just right there, and they just need that bump. And that's what, like, the sanctuary where Christian church and like there's like a refuge for a lot of skaters to go there. But a lot of these skaters, like, just pray for them because they're right there, but they haven't walked that step of faith yet into God. So that's what a lot of them need prayer with too.
My name is Chris. I'm just going to go ahead and throw out a shameless plug. But first, a guy that's like local to me that I just feel a huge burden to pray for a lot, and my buddy Dan Libby was able to minister a little bit to, is Jake Phelps. Yeah. And I think that's like the stronghold that Satan has on the skate ministry is through Jake Phelps. And if you look like Phil Shao, I go to church with his mom and his brother. And Phil Shao was supposed to be the editor of Thrasher magazine, and he died in a car accident. And that's how Jake Phelps got that position. Not because he was, supposed to get it, but there's some evil stuff that Jake Phelps, and I don't know, sometimes when I pray for him, I pray these imprecatory, David Psalm type prayers and bring him down from his position. I don't know what God wants to do, but man, I pray that he gets saved. I don't know if this is a story, but I know like Dan Libby and him, like when Dan Libby got saved, like it was a confrontation because he was editing videos for Thrasher. So lift him up, because I think that's where, like, if you look at the other skate magazines, nobody else has pentagrams. Like, nobody else, like, says, like, scapegoat, like, get a 666 tattoo as a skate magazine project. Like, that's the head of it, I think.
No, that's good, because, when God called, I forget who it was, King Uzziah or King Josiah, like one of those. But he told him to tear down the high places. So, yeah, pray and intercede for those high places in skateboarding. That's good, bro.
Yeah, and so thanks. And just the last of the plug is just if people are looking for skateboarding ministry opportunities, like there's a ton of them. Like the workers are so few, but like every year my church offers me to hire 4 full-time skate interns to come for 11 weeks and train in skate ministry with me and get paid to do it. So if you guys know anybody 18 to 24 years old, like we've had like 4 years where we found like one or nobody. And last year we finally had 3. It was the first year with more than one. So if you guys know anybody like that that's like ready to do skate ministry, needs a little bit of training and kick off, like it's an intensive 55 hours a week for 11 weeks, and it's a rad program, a lot of discipleship built in. And secondly, we've got a ministry opportunity like to become a skate missionary to Mexico. We've in the last 3 years had 140 decisions for Christ in a town that has a skate scene of about 300 skateboarders, and they're just like ripe like to get discipled, but nobody's there to do it for them. And then lastly, there's a huge opportunity to do skate ministry in Scotland that's just like waiting for a full-time missionary to go. And Richard's gone, Chad's gone, a lot of brothers here have been, and I'm going to be going up for the whole month of January. And just talk to us about these opportunities, because like there's so many. It's not like you have to look for a skate ministry. Like if you talk to us, like you can do it now.
Yeah, Scotland. Any of you guys want to go on an international missions trip? We started a skate church in Scotland. Scotland, 1% of the nation is hasn't really even heard the gospel. They just have dead big churches. But they started a skate ministry there, and a lot of these kids never even heard the gospel. And right now it's they have like 150 kids or 120 kids that come every Thursday, and they pay. I went with Jason Gallagher, and it was awesome. Like they out of this like ministry that was just a bunch of skaters. That the church is called Deeper. And it's so cool, but they're looking for laborers. They're looking for those who will come and disciple these kids. And I'm telling you, the way God is showing up to some of these kids is full encounter style. Like, it's not like it's a trip. But anyways, please, Scotland, God is doing something. God is raising up warriors in Scotland. So if what I'm saying is a tug, like, come to me or come to Chris, because, God's moving in the nations in Scotland.
Yeah, Dave Riesback, he's one of the guys that, we sponsor, Hosoi Skateboard sponsors, and he went out there for like a month and a half, ended up staying like 3 months, and he brought back the front page cover of the newspaper that they covered what was going on there, and it's blown away, because who would ever think a place that doesn't really believe in God would put it on the front cover? So definitely pray for that ministry.
And there are seeds of revival in that ministry. God said, John Knox during the Great Reformation, he said, "Give me Scotland or I'll die." And when he used to pray for Scotland, like there'd be snow around him, and the snow would melt like 10 feet circle. But so, there are like wells of revival in that nation that God's wanting to awaken.
I ask you guys, too, to pray. This November, Scotland and the UK are getting together for a skate conference as well. So it's their first skate conference. So I really encourage you to pray for them. Phil Pachonis is the director of Christian skaters out there for the UK, and the head director for Christian surfers have put together a skate conference. Mark already wants to go. So Mark, if you're willing to go, so they have a lot of key ministries in the Scotland area and the UK that are getting together, and it's growing fast. I got to go to Woolacombe, which is in the Devon area, and do skate ministry out there, and it was amazing. These people haven't been to church in decades. They don't know about Adam and Eve or Noah's Ark. They don't know the stories of the Bible. So when they're when they do accept Christ, it is a radical conversion. It's amazing.